They call me, hey, I'd like to cancel my order. So they cancel with me and buy it from the other person. So after a few times of this happening to me, I'm like, how do I learn from this? Well, you need to stock product. You need to take that into your own hand. You need to take control over what's happening. So that's when I decided. And also, usually companies will give you a little bit better profit margin. They'll give you 10% better discount if you're actually stocking the product.
Hello and welcome to the ECommerce podcast. We believe that there is more than enough content focused on e-commerce marketing and not enough content celebrating the real heroes of e-commerce, those running the operation. Each week, we find and interview an e-commerce operations expert to share the secrets behind how some of this industry's most exciting businesses are run. I'm your host, Norbert, the CEO of SyncSpider. Hello and welcome to another ECommerce podcast. Today I'm talking to Jonathan Price from Down4Sound, a really cool company, but he will tell you a bit more about that. Hey, Jonathan, great to have you here.
It's my pleasure, and I'm grateful to be here as well.
Yeah, lovely. Jonathan, tell me a bit more about yourself, about Down4Sound and how you got into e-commerce.
How I got into e-commerce and Down4Sound was initially, I've always been into car audio. I've always been fascinated with big sound in a vehicle. And I had started building a vehicle that had a big system, a car audio system in there. I was taking it to these different car audio shows. And when I would go there, it was so big that it would draw crowds in, and people would just be coming from all over the show to come see my vehicle, and they wanted to sit in it and experience it. So they would. And then once they did, they're like, where did you get your equipment from? And initially I was sponsored by these people. So I would say, go to this company and you can get the product, this company. And after a few times of going to shows and people asking me, where do you get your equipment from? The light bulb went off in my head. I could be selling these people this stuff because they're already wanting the equipment. They're excited about car audio because they heard my vehicle. So it makes it almost easy to sell these people the equipment because they're so hyped up in the moment. So anyway, that's when the light bulb went off in my head, and that I could sell these people this stuff. I could provide them a service and I could have a good time doing it. So that's how Down4Sound kind of came about.
That's cool. What shopping cart solution do you run?
As far as like a website backend, we use BigCommerce is what we use for our website platform. So that's we haven't moved into, and I know there's money being left on the table right now, but in business, like, you try to move strategically so you don't decrease your initial thing to add another thing, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people try to do so many things at once, they don't ever get really good at the first thing. They don't ever master the first thing, and they just become okay at it. So they're not optimizing that first revenue stream. So I'm trying to become the best that I can with the BigCommerce platform and my own website first. And then I'm going to move into Amazon, eBay, Walmart, all these different big box places that you can do for sales and logistics like that. So that's on the horizon for us, but just not into it just yet.
Got it. So BigCommerce is the shopping cart you work with. Did you consider any other shopping cart before, and why did you go with BigCommerce?
Yeah, we were actually using, I think it was called Volusion first. I'm not even sure if they're still around. It's been many years since we used them. But the reason why we swapped to BigCommerce was because I think it was the volume of the orders that we were getting started surpassing. And when I first started Down4Sound, I was just selling T-shirts and stickers, like just to try to cover like some gas money to get to these shows. We were selling these and people were buying a decent amount of them. So the number of items that we were selling were a good amount, but it was bumping us into a different tier of the pricing on Volusion's website. And it was costing so much for us to use them as because at that time they had different things based on the volume of orders you were getting. And we were getting a decent amount of volume, but the revenue that we were generating was just T-shirts. So it was very small in comparison. So anyway, the guy that does all my website work, he started searching for another solution that would work better for us. And that's when we came across BigCommerce and we made the swap to them, and we've been with them ever since.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. And how do you handle, let's say, the shipping? Do you have any additional provider where you put all the labels, or how do you handle that?
We use a service called Shipping Easy. I had a couple of different, I had another brand and another online store at first called Certified Basehead, which was like a household name brand that I came up with for myself that we were going to sell. So it made it where you could port all of your orders from, no matter how many stores you have, you could port them all into Shipping Easy. So they would all come up in a shipping queue right there. And we were using, and we still do use it, but I since dissolved that company and converted all those products that I had under the Certified Basehead brand into the Down4Sound name brand, because people already know the Down4Sound name brand in our niche is almost like a household name brand, like Nike or something like that in the shoes. Like people know Down4Sound. So I'm like, why am I trying to start a totally new name that nobody knows about? It's a very hard road to start something like that. So I'm like, man, I could convert all this into Down4Sound brand, same products, but Down4Sound name brand. And it's took off like crazy ever since I've done that. So that was something I learned as a business owner, and trying to start a new brand when I really probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, but it's an important learning, and it's good that you got it. How many, I mean, if you don't want to talk about that, it's a problem, but how many orders are you processing roundabout per month or so?
Per month? I'm not sure off the top of my head. I mean, I guess I could do the math, but we're averaging about 150 to 200 orders a day. So perfect. Mm-hmm. I guess if you do that times 30, whatever that is.
Yeah, that's fine. Wow. That's a huge number. I mean, for a store started from scratch and providing just the products that you have your own in your car, with that, it's amazing. Do you do any online marketing for that, or do you have any marketing work to do beside driving to the shows, showing off what you have?
Yeah. Well, luckily, the thing that made my business really take off was online everything. Basically, like my YouTube channel is where everything kind of started, and then I started an Instagram account, a Facebook account. I have a Twitter, but I'm not really active on there. It's not really a good place for car audio that I've seen. It's kind of dry for car audio. And then I have a TikTok, Snapchat, like all these different online platforms. So
Twitter is only reserved to Elon Musk. Yeah, so.
Right. I love Elon. He's the man. But yeah, so I tried. It's very important to obviously utilize online social media sales. Like even if you have a brick and mortar store, I can't stress to people enough. Like you need to have some sort of online presence. You can reach so many people so fast with just like a click of a button, basically, because I do both. I travel all across the country, and we're all across the world, actually going to all these car audio shows. And there's definitely value in face-to-face interaction and talking to a person in person. But the fact that you can go online and reach 100,000 people like that, and if you are good at doing it, you can reach a ton of people organically. And that's what I've really fine-tuned, I guess you can say, because I go online, or I do a live video on my Down4Sound Facebook page where we have almost 250,000 followers on there now. Wow. So I go live on there, and I'll just do a giveaway, and I'm like, I'll show a new product. Say we just got in some new amplifiers, so I'll put the title new amplifiers in, whatever the name of it is. And then I'll have people come in, and like you can ask any questions you want. I'll answer the questions. Oh, by the way, we're doing a giveaway in this video too. If you would like to enter this giveaway, all you have to do is 4 things. Share the video publicly. You can make your comment that you shared it. Like the video, like my page, and you're entered. No purchase necessary. That's how you enter the giveaway. And it blows up like crazy. We reach easily over 50,000 people each time that we do that. So I try to do it almost daily. It's a huge thing that people can do. Even when I first started and I just had 1,000 followers, like you're getting in front of so many people so fast.
That's really very interesting. And what I heard, what you mentioned first was it started with the YouTube channel. Is it still a strong channel for you, YouTube, or is it moved to Facebook, going live there, or Instagram?
So Facebook and Instagram seem to, and well, actually TikTok now is taking over like the amount of reach that you can get, because Facebook and Instagram, well, Facebook owns Instagram, I believe. So they want to get paid a lot for letting people see your content or see what you have going on, where TikTok hasn't really moved into that model yet. I mean, I know like people have to make a profit to stay in business. I understand that, but TikTok is still letting, if you put out a quality piece of content and the AI sees it and they see that a person is watching it all the way through, then they'll start like pushing it to more people. And if they keep watching it, they'll push it to even more people. So, but Facebook, they're like, they'll send you a thing. Would you like to boost your post for whatever amount?
Yeah, so, you must not say no.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
So where it comes to YouTube, it's not as, and I know why. Like, so now that I have a vehicle that's being built right now, that's going to be my current, we call it a demo vehicle, like that we'll take to shows and like let people hear it and everything like that. So people really want to see that. They want to see me, people getting in there and it blowing the girl's hair all around and like just like crazy system, crazy loud, and people's reactions. That's what they want to see. And they want to see me driving it around, going through drive-throughs and like causing a ruckus, basically. They want to see people's reaction. But right now it's at a shop in Florida and I live in Las Vegas. So I don't have access to the vehicle because it's not playing. So people want to see that. They want to see the vehicle or me hearing other people's vehicles, but I don't have that with me and available. So right now I'm just pretty much doing product reviews, like product unboxings and stuff like that. It's not near as exciting to people. So my views have come down a lot because people are like, he's just trying to sell us stuff right now. Like, so we're not so much interested. You know, when you try to sell somebody something, they're like, no, like, like stay away. So
but that's
anyway.
Interesting because YouTube actually is exactly that. So you used it to show off things. Do you have tutorials or how to fix the speakers into the car? Something like that?
So we don't do too much installations, but I did just start a thing where I call it a rapid fire question segment, where because every time we post a video, we have tons of people in the comments asking questions. So I just started probably about a couple of months ago. I actually hired a full-time videographer that like shoots my videos and edits all of them. So that's been a huge help to me making that step. But people asking all these questions because when somebody sees that you have 500,000 followers on YouTube, they think you're famous and they want to ask you questions. They want to talk to you. They want to get a response. So that's another reason why I think I've grown so fast, not just business wise, but online, because I've always been interacting with my followers. Like I'll answer their questions. I look at all my messages. I always try to answer them all the time. So people know that. And that's why a lot of them buy from me. But anyway, so they ask the questions in the comments. So I will go and we'll pick out questions and we'll do these segments where like, hey, I saw your question. Like we'll highlight the person there so they feel like they got a little like 5 seconds of fame online. They see their name on the box that pops up on the screen. And I'll personally answer their questions for them. I'll help them out with their problems they're having with their systems and stuff like that. So that's been something people really like because they feel like they're getting to talk to somebody that they may think is online famous or whatever.
How do you make most of the money is just about the online store, right? You don't earn money for going to the shows?
Some people pay me. If a person wants me to come to a show that I wasn't already planning to go, they'll pay like in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much money. Usually I want like all my expenses covered, something for my time. But it usually averages like $1,500 to $2,000, something like that, because I'm having to fly across the country. Most of the shows that I go to are in the southeast part of the United States, and I live on the West Coast in Las Vegas. So and then I have to pay the person that actually keeps my truck to trailer it to the show. It's a big act to make this happen. But anyway, So it's not so much me getting paid there. My biggest source of revenue is obviously Down4SoundShop.com, like where we sell the products at. I make a little bit of money off of my YouTube channel because it has ads running on it and stuff. But the biggest source of income is definitely the website.
Are you shipping the goods yourself, or do you have a warehouse partner, or how is it handled in your company?
We do everything, and this is something that I learned as well. A very, very valuable lesson for me was when I first, and I know I put this in there, that everybody thinks that you can, it's so common for people to think that people with online stores don't really work that much. And I work 4 hours a week and I do $20 million a year in revenue, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is such a facade. It's not. Maybe 0.01% of the people in online e-commerce can do something like that, but it's very, very difficult. And to do it in only 4 hours, the more that you work, I know Elon Musk said this, like he said, if you work, he works 120-hour work weeks is what he says. So he is out working everybody and he's getting 3 times as much stuff done because most people are working 30 or 40-hour work weeks. So that's why all of his companies and stuff have rapidly expanded so fast, because he's out working everybody. I mean, he's very intelligent, and he has great people on his team. But when you have everybody working way more than everybody else does, and they enjoy what they do, you're able to accomplish a lot more things and move forward way faster than a person normally would. So, yeah, I work a lot, and we do all the shipping here in Down4Sound. But when I first started, I thought I had believed that I could just drop ship everything. Basically, I was like, I'll just make all the money. Like, I won't have to have any overhead. Like, I'll just have this online store. And what
work 4 to 8 hours a week. Yeah,
exactly. So what happened to me, the lesson that I learned was, when you rely on somebody else dealing with their inventory, it's not always accurate. And even your own company you'll have discrepancies there. But if it's your own company, you kind of have a better hold on it and you can fix it faster. Whereas if say you sell a product, you're just strictly drop shipping stuff. You sell a product or you get the sale. Because you can lose the sale just as easy as you got it. So I would get the sale, and I would send the order over to the company to drop ship it. And they would say, oh, sorry, we don't have that in stock. So what happens then? You have to contact the customer, like, hey, sorry, we don't have that in stock right now. It's going to be however much time, for 8 weeks, whatever. And at first they're like, oh, okay, because they're a fan of mine. So they're like, oh, no problem, man. Like, I'll wait on it to come in. I'm like, thanks for the call. Like, okay, cool. But after a few days goes by, what that customer does is they're like, man, I really would like to have my product. So they go online and they're looking for it. Oh, this person sells it. Let me call them to make sure they have it in stock. They call them. They actually have it in stock. So what do? They call me. Hey, I'd like to cancel my order. So they cancel with me and buy it from the other person. So after a few times of this happening to me, I'm like, how do I learn from this? Well, you need to stock product. You need to take that into your own hand. You need to take control over what's happening. So that's when I decided. And also, usually companies will give you a little bit better profit margin if you stock the product. Like, say they'll give you 10% better discount if you're actually stocking the product. So it also helps you cover your expenses for having your own store, your own facility and stuff like that, because you're making more profit on the product. So anyway, that was a very valuable lesson for me, because it stings. It stings when you get a sale and then you have to give it away to somebody else that's stocking the product.
But with stocking a product and having a warehouse, it also requires some software in the background to do all the purchasing and the stock management. Do you have any additional software besides BigCommerce to handle all this, or do you do everything with BigCommerce?
We do everything through BigCommerce. We've looked into, and I know some companies have like scan guns and an automated system. We haven't moved completely into that yet, because most of the systems that we have seen, like the reviews on them, people are complaining like this thing doesn't work. Like they have all these issues. So
Yeah.
right now, and we're still relatively, I see us as a relatively small company. We did 18 million last year. So it's not like they were super small, but it's still relatively small to me. So our warehouse that we have here in Las Vegas is 30,000 square feet. And we deal with about 15 different brands, and we have it set up in different sections, and we know like what the hottest sellers are and everything like that. So we'll go through me and my managers. Like I have a warehouse manager and a front office manager, and we'll go through and now them, because I've relayed the stuff, the tasks to them to stay on top of the inventory and everything. But they'll go through like once a week and like take counts and see where we're at and make sure that we're ordering stuff that we have the hottest movers in stock, and just staying on top of it that way. I know as we continue to grow and to get to a 50 or $100 million company, you have to have more automation in place to make that happen. I just haven't found a system that people love, like as far as inventory. Like, so anyway, hopefully that's in the near future for us as well.
Yeah, cool. I mean, you have quite a big warehouse and you stock everything. How did the pandemic harm you in regards of getting the goods ready?
Yeah, so when it first started, like I was pretty scared because I mean, I think everybody had that initial fear that like, oh man, like we've never experienced this before. What's going to happen? So for about 3 to 4 weeks, like we've always been like on an upward trajectory in our business, and it's going up and up and up for like ever since I started. And then when it like the first week that it happened, like it kind of leveled off and then it started nosediving. I'm like, oh man, like this is bad. Like what's going to happen? Am I going to have to let people go? Like, you care about your team members. So all these things are weighing on you as a business owner. So for about 3 or 4 months, like 3 or 4 weeks, we were on this downward trajectory. I'm like, man, this is affecting me bad because I haven't ever experienced this before. I'm like, is this the end? But after that, I think people were stuck at home and they were bored and they didn't have anything to do. So they're like, oh, well, I guess I could start working on my car audio project. So they started ordering product, and that luckily, like it turned around and it started back on that upward trajectory. And we did great in 2020 and had another record year in 2020. Our biggest year ever, which was right at 18 million last year in 2021. So it benefited us a lot for having stuff in stock and being able to get it to people fast. We did experience the slowdown of getting products from the vendors because of China shutting down. A lot of the products are made in China and shipped out. So, but we were constantly pivoting into offering, say if somebody ordered a 3,000 watt amp in this name brand and we couldn't get it, it was going to be a very long time. We sold out of it, and we would offer them something similar in a different name brand and work with them on the price or whatever. And that seemed to work well in helping people get going. So that's something that we did.
Awesome. You do offer at Down4Sound fast, free shipping. Yeah. What went you into making this happen?
Yeah. So another lesson that I learned was very soon after I learned the lesson of not having stuff in stock was when I first started my online store, I was charging for shipping like most people were. But there was people out there that weren't charging for shipping. And I'm like, man, why are they doing that? They're losing money. They have to pay for shipping. So I'm like, well, how do I fix this? And the way that you fix it is you start covering the shipping costs. So that's what taught me that lesson, and that's how I pivoted there. But the other thing so we have what's called the Down4Sound difference: guaranteed lowest prices, fastest shipping, best customer service. So we coined this phrase in car audio, and it's funny because a lot of the other companies that are trying to do what I do, they see what I'm doing and they're like, oh, if he can do it, anybody can do it. It must be easy. So they literally copy what I'm doing word for word. to where some people that are shopping online, they'll come across their site and they're like, did you start another website? Because it looks just like yours. It says the same things yours does. And I'm like, no, I didn't. It's just like people are trying to copy you. And that's what goes to that thing about being original. Like if you're just copying people your entire life, you're just, at best, you're going to be the best second place person ever. Like you're never going to be the best. You're just waiting for the best person to come out with some new process so you can copy them. Like you're going to be right there up under them the whole time. So I guess if you're okay with being second best your entire life, then just keep copying people. And you can copy, like, because I share everything that I do. So you can take what people do and kind of mold your thing into what fits you best. But to copy people directly, like your entire time, like you don't even know who you are personally if you're just copying people your entire life. Like you have to be your own person, you know?
I mean, this is, I think, one of the biggest problems in drop shipping, because they give you a template, a blueprint, what you should do and how you should do it, and they just run it up. And this is why, I mean, you can be very successful with drop shipping, but you need to be unique anyway. So you need to also become unique there and build up your brand. I really like what you're doing to really get the risk and stock the goods. This makes it easier and better if you have the shipping under your control. I think that's a very important thing.
Right. I left one thing out. So I said it in the Down4Sound difference, but fastest shipping. So we do everything that we can to get the products out every single day, if all possible. Where I know other companies that are trying to do like the online e-commerce car audio sales, they'll get all their shipments and ship like once a week. And I'm like, what? Or they'll just ship on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays or whatever. And they also work typical hours, which is usually like an 8 to 5 or 8 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever it is. And here we work 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. I'm running 2 different shifts during the week. So we're awake. We're operating before they even wake up. We're shipping when they're asleep. Like, so this is something that we're doing, and I view it as a compliment. A lot of our customers will post like reviews. Man, I got my Down4Sound order faster than my Amazon order. I'm like, man, that's saying something.
That's amazing. That's
Amazon's they're the size they are because they're killing it. They figured everything out. They're doing an awesome job. So I'm like, man, what a compliment for people to post that, and it lets me know
that's really great.
They know that we're going above and beyond to help these people get their products as fast as possible. So yeah, that's something that's big to us.
So the next step is marketplaces: Walmart, Amazon, eBay.
Correct. Yeah. So we're working. I can't think of the name. I think it's called Feedonomics or something like that. We're working with a company right now that they pretty much make it where they feed all of your products that you offer into these other marketplaces, and they make it real streamlined and everything. So we're currently working kind of in a test phase right now of trying to get all that worked out, because obviously you want to try to get all the bugs fixed before it launches. So when it launches, you aren't faced with all these issues like when it happens. So we're kind of in the testing phase of that. So all of our products will be pushed onto Amazon, eBay, Walmart, like Jet.com, all these bigger things that'll also bring more revenue to the Down4Sound store.
To get another revenue stream and cross the 20 million this year.
Yeah, that's the goal. I know, like last year we were blessed to be able to achieve something like that, but I know it's somewhat of an inflated number because we got in the United States, we got really quick. Where are you located at?
Austria.
Okay. So we had, I think we ended up getting 3 or 4 stimulus checks where people basically got free money from the government. They're like, oh, here's however much money. So when a person that hasn't ever had money gets free money given to them, it's literally burning a hole in their pocket to spend it. Like they're like, oh, I got to buy something with this. Like most people don't think about investing it or anything like that. They just want to go buy something cool. So people getting all those stimulus checks, they just they're like, oh, I've been wanting the speaker or amplifier or whatever. So when they see that money go into their account, the first thing they do is run to Down4Sound and purchase something with it. So it boosted our number up last year a good amount. And I know, so this year there hasn't been any stimulus checks. And so this year I'm okay. I mean, I guess you could say, okay, I'm understanding of a little bit if we are level with last year or maybe a little bit less, because we have, I think, 80,000 customers. So if 80,000 people are not getting free money, and they're not going to just spend it on something that's not a necessity. Like, let's face it, car audio is not a necessity. There's not electricity or a home or anything like that. So you don't have to have it. So that's 80,000 people that are not spending this windfall of money that they got on car audio. So if we end up doing the same thing this year, we have a little bit, the whole inflation thing is real, and you have to understand that it can't always be very, very good. Like, it has to have some sort of slowdown or cool off for a little bit before it can have like another uptick. So I'm prepared for that, and I'm okay with it. It can't be sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Nah, doesn't work. That's true. Absolutely. How important is automation for you? And what does it mean for you to be automated or fully automated?
Yeah, we definitely, like I was saying, with the inventory and stuff like that, I definitely want to move, like, as you continue to grow, you need to move more into automation and have those processes in place. We're still not super automated. We have our shipping systems in place. So when the orders come in, they go over to Shipping Easy. And when the orders come through, we process them. I know there's companies out there that have all that automated, where each package is weighed, and they know if there's 3 different items that'll fit in this one box and what it's going to weigh, and it'll already print the label out and everything like that. We haven't made it to that level yet. We're still figuring out what will fit in one box, if it's too heavy or not, and so we're still weighing the box ourselves and printing the label for it. So, but as far as feeding the orders into one place to print the label through Shipping Easy, like, we're doing that part. But as far as full automation, like Amazon stuff, like their robots are packing the packages themselves and putting the label on there with it. So I understand there's different levels of it, but that's something, it is very important and I know it's necessary to reach these next levels of revenue, because what works at 20 million probably won't work, or you have to have a lot of automation implemented to go to 50 million or 100 million. Like, it's just part of it. So yeah, it's definitely on the horizon and needed as you continue to go.
Got it. One last question. Who has taught you the most about e-commerce in your career?
Taught me the most? I follow a lot of people online. One of the ones that comes to mind first is Patrick Bet-David, Valuetainment on YouTube. Great dude. He moved from somewhere overseas and he came to the United States and had a bunch of hardships at first and became super successful. I follow Grant Cardone. He's more in the real estate space, and same thing, rough start. Everybody has a story, basically, but when the story is great, like, they had a really rough start and they made it into multi-$100 million person, or even a billionaire, from a person that was on drugs and like living under a bridge. Like, the story is so much better. So you get captivated by the person and you want to follow them and what they do. So Gary Vaynerchuk is another person that I follow. Ed Milet. I have a lot of people that, most of them are entrepreneurs. Some of them not so much in the e-commerce game, but I like good stories, and I like hearing where people started at and like what they were able to achieve. They overcome adversities and become super successful, and that makes me happy. Like, the further I get in my success with Down4Sound and in life, the more I get fulfillment out of seeing other people become successful. Like the people that I have on my team, seeing them achieve, like being able to buy their dream car or their dream home or all these things. I'm like, man, it's so fulfilling to me. It's worth more than any amount of money that I can make. It makes me feel so good.
That's cool. That's really cool. Thanks so much for your time, Jonathan. It was really a pleasure talking to you. And I like the idea of what you said. Do something that makes you original. Don't copy. This is really something. We have too much of copycats here that try to just copy something and get successful, but you will always be second. And this is definitely, there's so much open room to be unique and still be in the same niche as someone else. So this is, I think this is the problem, being original. And of course, I can definitely underline that. And I've seen that so many times in e-commerce. Free shipping is really something that makes really, really a difference. It's the point when someone is at the checkout and they see, okay, it's free shipping, they more likely will purchase than if you add another $4 or $5 or $7, $8 for shipping. That's an important fact. I mean, it's better to have the product a bit more expensive, than to have shipping costs at the end. And this is really something, I mean, you can make a minimum price for free shipping or something else. Even that I do not really recommend, but of course I know it's required. But free shipping is really a game changer. And and I also like that you said, I do the shop first, perfect, and then I go into marketplaces. I would have done it maybe a bit different because I want to try this and that, but the concept is clear. And I think that's important. If you really have something in shape, very good and professional, then you can start the next thing and grow for it. So good luck.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and don't think I have it all figured out. Like I'm a human. Like I'm a business owner. So when you are a business owner and a human, you're constantly figuring things out. Just because I'm doing it this way doesn't mean somebody else couldn't do all things at once and make it happen. But that's just my way. Like, and it seems to be working fairly well for me. Like, so I just want to get you could be, I can't remember the saying, but you could be great at something, or you could be just okay at a few things. Like, so which one do you want to be? So I just want to get as great as I can at the first thing and kind of get that mastered, then move into the next thing and become great at that as well, while simultaneously keeping the other thing great too. Like, because a lot of people will have that, you're on a seesaw, like you'll start putting more effort into this one, so this one will start coming down. So anyway.
You have 24 hours a day and you need to sleep at least 4 or 5 hours. So the rest, there's also something called family. Huh? So
Absolutely. But, I've been trying to do better at that as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much, people. And if you liked it, just hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Would be more than happy to get you as a frequent listener. Talk soon and good luck, Jonathan.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Bye.
And that's it for this episode of the eCom Ops podcast. If you enjoyed listening and would like us to find and interview more e-commerce operations experts, please search for eCom Ops podcast in your favorite podcast listening app, and then subscribe, rate, and review. Until next time.